What is up, guys? Welcome back to my second baseball video on the channel, and today we are going to be judging teams based off we're 30 of the season, so we're going to judge them, give them a performance, and the 5 tiers I set up to judge them on is best in the biz. These are the top 3 teams in baseball. The top 3 teams. There's going to be 3 people in this new category. And we've got contending teams. These are the teams that they aren't the best teams in baseball, but like if they won the World Series, you'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then playoff teams, those are the kind of teams where, they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to have a Braves type of season last year where they just kind of pop off to win it all and solid. Those are teams that, they're kind of middle of the pack. They'll finish right around 500, a little below, a little above it, but they will not be in the playoffs, but they also won't be a terrible team. Now, not the worst. Those are teams that are rebuilding, but they're making progress for their rebuild. So they're not either looking terrible or they're taking steps forward. It's like just an example would be like the Orioles are taking a step forward. I don't know if they'll be in not the worst, but they're just an example of what that is. Are you even trying? We know who those teams are. Those teams are bad. They shouldn't be playing baseball. They're bad. But let's just hop right into it. Yankees best in biz. That's clear. They're top 5 in. They're probably they're the best pitching team in baseball. Their ERA says it. They are top 5 offensively. Their lineup has the MVP in it, and Aaron Judge. He's obviously the MVP frontrunner right now. They have one of the best pitching staffs ever, and it's not very common you get to say like Garrett Cole isn't the best pitcher in your rotation at this moment, and that's what the Yankees can say because they've just been that good. Now, the Seattle Mariners, I thought they were playoffs again this year, but honestly, I'm going to go with solid. I think they're going to massively underperform their expectations now. I think their expectations are significantly lower. Robbie Ray clearly is not a Cy Young pitcher. I thought he had an incredible year in Blue Jays last year, but I didn't expect him to pick it up. And honestly, I didn't like that move by them because he's a career 4 ERA pitcher and nothing more. And that's exactly what he's being right now. He's a 4 ERA pitcher. I don't expect anything special out of him. I do like the fact that they try to make moves to upgrade, but I just don't think they're the right moves. Getting Adam Frazier, that wasn't the right move. There's Winker, I did like that move. I think they needed the bat, and I think Winker was the right move. Getting Suarez as well in that deal, I think those were good, solid moves, but they just haven't worked out so far. But Ty France has taken a step forward, Crawford has, but overall, I think they're going to be a middle-of-the-line team, kind of like they've been like last year. They're not going to be a playoff team, but they're going to be a solid team, and I think their future is bright, so I think in a couple years they could very well be a playoff/contending team, and hopefully end that goddamn curse they have. Rays. I don't think they're contending like they were last year, but I think they're a playoff team. I think right now they're showing that if they don't make some moves, they will not be a serious playoff team. They really just can pitch. Their offense has struggled a lot this year. Their pitching has really just been the main thing. Their defense hasn't been great. Their fielding has been struggled at times. I just said the defense hasn't been great, so of course their fielding has been great. But their base pass hasn't been very good. They're just kind of an overall, they're getting carried by their pitching, let's be real. Blue Jays, contending. I think they're contending. They have one of the better staffs and one of the better pitching staffs in the league. I do believe that head front with Gausman. I think Barrios will get it going and he'll turn back into what the pitcher that he is. But overall, I think they're a good team. Their bats will start coming again. Gurriel will get going. Guerrero, not Gurriel. Well, I mean, Gurriel I guess will too, but Guerrero will get going. He'll go back to his MVP form in a month or two. He's had a burst out, but yes, he will get going. Bichette will get going. A lot of their guys will get going. Springer will get going, and they will be a good team. I don't think they're going to be like a best in the biz team, just because you can't be the best. You can't have 2 teams in the same division. In my opinion, being the best in the biz. But they'll be a good team. They'll be a contending team. You won't be surprised if they make it far. Marlins. I think I gotta put them not the worst. They're not. I don't think they're like at the Mariners level, because Mariners have like 5 or 6 solid, like 5 or 6 guys in their rotation in their lineup that are working nice. But they're not terrible. They have Soler, Chisholm, they got Jazz. You like Jazz? They have a great pitching staff. I think they have a wicked bright future, and I think they're taking the right steps to be a solid team in the future. I don't think they're gonna be anything special, but yes, they will be a nice team in the future. Sandy Alcantara is literally making history right now. He's the first player since Chris Sale and Kershaw back in 2016 to have 7 starts and pitch 55 innings in 7 starts. He is the first player since Chris Sale and Kershaw to ever do that, and that was back in 2016. So he has been outstanding for them. Now the Cardinals, they're a playoff team. Yeah, they'll be in the playoffs. I believe that. I don't know if they'll be a wild card team or if they will win their division. I think they'll win their division probably. I think they'll win the division with Goldschmidt, and they have a really nice core with Goldschmidt, Arenado, Edmund, Hader, O'Neill. They have a really nice core. I think they're gonna need Flaherty back if they want to seriously do something in the playoffs. They're gonna need it. They're gonna need to bolster their pitching. That's for certain in my mind. But overall, they're a playoff team. They have a top 5 third baseman, top 5 first baseman as well. Edmund's been really nice for them. He's cooled off a little bit since his hot start, I believe. But yeah, they're a good team to be in the playoffs. Astros, I think they're contenders, to be honest. I do. Bregman, Altuve, Pena's done a great job filling in for Correa. I mean, he isn't obviously Correa, but he's done about as good a job as you can expect from them. Verlander's having a Cy Young type of season. I think they'll be a contending team, in my opinion. I think they'll make a move at the deadline that'll really put them in that contending spot. Obviously, you can make the argument they're a playoff team. I won't lie, but I think they'll be contenders. With Alvarez and them, and they'll be a good team. They'll be a good team, and come the postseason time in October, they will be a team to look out for. The Braves, playoffs. Yeah, playoffs. That seems fair. Acuna, Olsen, Albies, Riley, those guys. They'll make them into the playoffs. I don't think they'll be a serious contender. Obviously, they could very well do what they did last year and just get hot come playoff time and just smoke them and win it all. But overall, I think they're a playoff team. I think they'll need to add a piece or two like they did last year to really make that jump into contending. But honestly, I don't think they will because they don't really need to. After what they did last year with them just getting hot during the playoffs time and winning all, they might just stick with that. Orioles. This goal not the worst. It's not terrible. Their pitching has really stepped it up. And now I don't know if that has to do with the fact that they made their freaking left field 370, which is just ridiculous in my opinion, and it looks terrible. But hey, whatever you gotta do to upgrade your pitching, I guess. Their bats have been bad. That's also due to that 370. But their pitching has been wicked solid. And I think they were taking steps forward in the positive direction. Obviously, they're still a couple years away from contending, but they got Adley up, and I think they'll be a solid team. I think they'll be a solid team in a couple of years. But as of right now, they aren't the worst of the worst, but they're definitely not a solid team. They're definitely not like the Mariners. Now the Guardians. I did get it right last time I was doing this. I called them the Indians, but the Guardians, I'm going to put them in solid. They are a solid team. They are not anything special. They're showing us to it now. They're probably a 500 team. They don't make the playoffs. At least I don't think they do. Jose Ramirez is having MVP type of season. It's too bad that boy in the pinstripes has just been playing out of his mind. But he's got over 50 RBIs. J-Ram does. He's been playing really well, and they locked him down, which I think was a huge thing they had to do. If they wanted to be successful, they needed to make sure this dude got what he got paid, and they have him locked down for a couple years. Now they have a nice solid pieces coming, like a Jimenez is doing well. They got a nice pitching staff. They always do. Their pitching always works out very well for them. Now, moving on to the Colorado Rockies. I think they'll win out the worst. They're not a great team. They have C.J. Cron, Chris Bryant, Chuck Nasty. He hasn't been doing very well, but I just like saying Chuck Nasty. But C.J. Cron, he's probably gonna get dealt. But overall, they're not terrible. They don't have an incredibly bright future, in my opinion. They don't have a ton of pieces. And I think the Chris Bryant deal was really confusing, given that they don't have a lot of pieces. They're going to have to make some moves if they really want that Bryant deal to make any sense. So I'm going to put them in not the worst for now. Now, the Tigers get the first, are you even trying? Because at this point, I don't even, do they know they have to hit the ball? Do they know they have to score runs? Because it's just been pitiful to watch this team. Kind of bad. I'm a Yankees fan. I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm a Yankees fan. I had to watch that Detroit series, and they were pretty pitiful at the plate. It was just, Javier Baez, you just throw him anything outside the strike zone, and he'll basically get himself out. If he can learn some plate discipline, he'd be solid, but, he just hasn't had any plate discipline. Miguel Cabrera's been their best batter this year, and he still hasn't been very good. He's on pace to, I think, get 55 RBIs to lead the team, which is just incredibly low. They're just not a good team. They just aren't, and honestly, God, they're clearly tanking, because you can't be this bad. The Royals, I don't think they're as bad as the Tigers. I'm going to put them in not the worst because I think they have a nice future. That's really what I'm depending on, if their future's nice or not. And when I do decide not the worst, or are you even trying? I think they have a nice pieces. They got Melendez. Benintendi's probably going to get traded. They have a nice couple of young pitching prospects coming up soon. I think they're not the worst team. They're not just going to roll over and die, I guess is how I put it. They're putting up a fight like the Marlins, Orioles, and Rockies have all been doing. Brewers, Brew Crew, I think they're a playoff team. I think the Cardinals and the Brewers will be the two teams out of the NL Central to make the playoffs. I think Yelich is going to have a big summer. He's been hitting the ball hard. He just hasn't got the launching out right. And once it hits summertime, the ball is going to fly. He's going to hit homers, and this team is going to start to win a lot of ball games. And they're going to make it in as a wild card team with the Cardinals taking the division. That's how I see it. The Angels, Angels got off to a hot start, but I think the losing streak they went on was something they weren't due to lose that many games, but I don't think they were a playoff team to begin this year. I know they made a couple moves to try and bolster that pitching staff, but I don't think it was enough. That pitching staff is horrendous. It's always been horrendous. I don't think it's very good outside of Ohtani and Syndergaard and Iglesias, but outside of that, I really don't think they have a ton of good guys this year. They have Detmers, who will probably be a nice pitcher in the future, but as of right now, he isn't something special. He did have a no-hitter, which is incredibly shocking. He's pitching to, I think, a 4.3 ERA, which isn't bad for how young he is, but it's not something that a contending team needs right now, or a playoff team will have. Overall, I think they're a solid team. They got rid of Madden. I like that move. I think it's been a while since Madden's been a good manager, and I think getting rid of him was the right decision, even without the losing streak. I just don't like him that much as a manager anymore. He was great with the Cubs and the Rays. He was very good with, but I think he's just the game's kind of has evolved past him, kind of like Joe Girardi with the Phillies, wherever they are. Oh, right there. All right, Athletics. Are you even trying? That's a pretty easy one. Outside of Sean Murphy and Frankie Montas, they don't have a lot of nice pieces. You know, they got Elvis Andrus starting at shortstop. It's not really a ton to talk about for them. They're not a good team, and they probably won't be a good team. Now, Phillies, they've been hot ever since they fired Girardi, which I think was the right move, like I said. Girardi's really struggled with bullpen and starting pitching, just maintaining them, and he always has. He's just had that masked up with how good the Yankees bullpen has been when he was with them, but I think he goes in solid. You know, I think he goes, I don't think they're a playoff team. I think I don't really like the moves they made this offseason. I don't like getting Schwarber and Castellanos. I think they should have done something like we saw the Yankees do this year, where they really went to try to dominate the defensive side of the ball when the Yankees picked up Donaldson and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. I think that's what the Phillies should have done. They should have made some defensive moves and get solid bats with a couple defensive guys. I then look to try to improve from this year and not really go into win now mode like they did, because it's really backfired on them. It just hasn't worked out, and I think with the way the NL East is set up, there will only be 2 playoff teams getting out of it, and the Mets and the Braves, and the Phillies they won't make it. I think they're in another division they might, but no, they're not going to make it out of the NL East. Pirates, are you even trying? That's certainly what you guys get. Sending down O'Neal Cruz. God, that guy should be in the big leagues. I really want to watch him play. But outside of Cruz, I really don't have much. Reynolds is having a bad year, and I don't think he's going to be around by the time the Pirates are good again, so he might be getting dealt in the near future. But outside of him and I think it's Bender or Denbar, something like that, the relief pitcher, outside of him and Reynolds right now, they don't have a lot of special talent coming. They traded all their talent away to get Chris Archer, who turned out to be one of the worst pitchers I've ever seen. But yeah, enough about the Pirates to get into the Padres. I am all in on the San Diego Padres. Slam Diego. I love that shit. Manny Machado is a top 2, second, third baseman, and he is not 2. That's all I gotta say. I think he is the best third baseman in the league. His defense is great. He's got a great bat. Now, I can't tell you for certainty that, obviously it's debatable. You can debate if he's the number 1 team, and you can obviously debate if they're a contending team, but I like them. I think they have a great pitching staff headed by Musgrove. I think they're going to be a good team, and I think come playoff time, if they went around, they, flirted with the winning World Series, you wouldn't be incredibly shocked by that, especially once they get Tatis bat and their bats really get rolling. I like that team a lot, and I think they'll be good. Rangers, you get a not the worst for me, and I think, honestly, you can make an argument with how disappointing the season has been for them that they go in there. Are you even trying? Because Seager and Semien have just been awful for them. Greg off to a really bad start. He started to settle down a little bit, but again, he just has not been what they wanted. Same with the other 2 big free agent signings they had. Semien has just been terrible. One of the worst guys I've seen this year. Jeez. And Seager was okay, and he's kind of started to slump now. He does have that power going for him, but the average isn't there, and the OPS is still a little low. Both of those moves, I think, are going to end up hurting them in the long run. I didn't like them. I didn't think Semien deserved a long-term deal, and Seager just doesn't have good enough defensive metrics, in my opinion, to have him be worth a 7-year deal. Now, the Red Sox, I think they're a playoff team. I do. I think after that slow start, they're showing that their offense is good enough to carry them into the playoffs. Now, barring any trades, their pitching is not good enough to win. Their pitching is not good enough to win in the playoffs. That's very simple. They do not have a clear closer, which is a major problem. You need to have a clear closer if you want to be a playoff winning team. And their rotation has not been the best. They have Hauka. Valdi just got put on the IL. You don't know Chris Sale. I don't know when he's going to be back, but you don't know if he's going to be Chris Sale when he gets back. Obviously, there's too many question marks for me to put this team in contending. I think they are basically the opposite of the Rays this year, where the Rays' pitching is going to carry them into the playoffs. Well, the Red Sox offense is going to carry them into the playoffs. Now, the Giants, they get solid for me. I think they're showing what they were supposed to be last year. They were not a 100-win season. They all popped off. They all had resurgence years. But I think now they're showing you that they're not a playoff-worthy team, but they're not bad. They're not, the Orioles, Rockies, Royals type of team like that. They're a solid team. Obviously, I don't know if being solid is what they necessarily need, because I don't think they have the pieces good enough to make a serious run in the near future, like in a year or so. I think honestly it would do them best to just be a bad team, get some picks, get their farm system really stacked up, and then just move on from there. But they're a solid team. Dodgers, best in the biz, no doubt about it. They're one of the best teams in baseball. They are the they're second best team in my opinion. I think it's the Yankees first, just because the Yankees been having a terrific. Dodgers, and then obviously the Mets, who are also going to be the best in the biz. But before we talk about this, let's talk about the Dodgers. Dodgers have been great. They have stars. They have so many. They have like 6 stars on their teams. Betts, Kershaw, Bueller. I know Bueller and Kershaw. I think they just got hurt, but Freeman's wicked good. Turner is a star. I love Trey Turner, man. He's one of my favorite players in baseball. I love watching that guy play the speed. He just does everything well. It's one of my favorite guys to watch. Now, for the Mets have been actually shocking in my opinion. Scherzer and DeGrom being hurt, they've still been one of the best pitching teams in baseball. I do think that they either need Lindor to step up big time, or they're going to have to make another deal to bring in a nice player to be the best team in baseball. I doubt they'll make that team, because obviously they have enough to, if they wanted to win a World Series. And honest God, I would love a Subway Series between the Yankees and Mets. That would be amazing. Diamondbacks, you get a not the worst from me. They're not terrible. They're, I think, 4th in a very, very solid NL West, in my opinion. They're not like the AL East, but they'll give you 2 playoff teams, and they'll all have nice, solid teams. Now, they aren't playing exceptionally great baseball. They're playing about as good as you thought they would do, with Ketel Marte finally getting shaken off that slow start he had. And overall, I think they're not the worst team. They don't have a great number of prospects or a great, they don't have a great farm system, but we will see once they move on from Marte, which I think they will. I think the contract they sign is they didn't send him to a massive deal. They sent him to he's a little cheaper. I think it's just proof that he will be dealt in the near future. And he should bring in a ton of prospects and they really love them out to be a successful team in the future. White Sox, you're gonna get a solid for me. There's a lot of turmoil in that team right now with the Tim Anderson stuff popping up, and he just already cheated on his wife, suspectively. I read something like that. But there's been a lot of turmoil. They just got into a fight today in the dugout with Lance Lynn, who came back. And overall, Tony La Russa has just been doing a bad job managing that team. And honestly, I really like, if they're healthy, I think they'd be a good team. But overall, they're just not proving that they are a playoff team in my mind as of right now. Obviously, that could change. There's a lot of season left, but they really need to pick it up if they want to do something. And I think, honestly, if they're going to do that, they need to get rid of La Russa. Twins, playoffs. They get playoffs to me. I think they're going to win the AL Central, which obviously usually isn't the best thing in the world, but I think they could be a 95-plus win team, and I think they could really cement themselves as a solid playoff team. I don't think they're contending. I think if they want to be contending, they need to add to that pitching rotation with the injuries they've had. But I think they're a deal or 2 away from pushing themselves in that contending role, but honestly, as a Yankees fan, I'll never truly believe it, because we just always crap on the Twins. Cubs, are you even trying? I watched the whole 3-game set against the Yankees they had this weekend, and I've been paying attention to them pretty much a pretty solid amount, because I really want to see how Contreras and Happ does, because I really would like to see the Yankees make a deal to get Happ. And I was wondering what Contreras would bring in for value, but they just have not been a good team. They don't have a lot of young guys. They have the center fielder I can't remember his name right now, but he's a stud. I think he'll be a stud in the future. But outside of him, they have a lot of new guys in the MLB, but they're not they're not like 21, 22-year-olds, 23, 24. They're a lot of like 27, 28-year-old guys who are going to be out of their prime before the Cubs are actually good again. Nationals, I think they get not the worst. They have a nice future with Josiah Gray and Kyra Ruiz, and obviously Juan Soto if they can get a deal with him, or trade him. I mean, either way, like obviously you don't want to trade Soto, but the haul they're gonna get back for Soto is literally an entire farm system. Like if they pick the right team, they could take like 7 studs from them. The Reds, are you even trying? You guys don't have a good farm system. You guys don't have really any good players right now. You got Tyler Stevenson, but honestly, I don't think he's been that impressive in my opinion. I think he's got a little lucky so far to start this season, but he's obviously been one of the better catchers in the league. Overall, though, I think they're not a good team. Obviously, they weren't expected to be, and they'll be fighting for the 1 seed to hopefully draft some number 1 overall guy. But this is my rankings for so far for the 1/3 of the way of the season. Comment down below if you have any problems with them, if there's anything you don't agree with, you want me to change, something like that. But this is someone talking about sports, and I'll see you all later.